Hey guys, how you all doing? My name's Craig, and in today's video I am going to be reviewing a gruesome classic called Hostel. It was released in 2005 and it was directed by the amazing Eli Roth. Now, whenever I go to watch a horror movie directed by Eli Roth, I just know it's going to be gory, and this is definitely one of his best movies in my opinion. The movie follows three friends, Paxton, Josh and Ollie, who are backpacking around Europe, and they end up in this hostel in Slovakia after it was recommended by a very shady looking guy in Amsterdam. The three friends are up for a good time with some hot women, but things take a gruesome turn when they are taken to this underground dungeon place where rich people torture and kill tourists. I can remember when I first saw this movie and watching the first half where Paxton, Josh and Ollie, they're just traveling around and having fun. It doesn't feel like that you're watching a horror film at first. The movie has this great build-up and storytelling before hitting you right in the guts with this charge of gore and insane intense scenes. I think when you first watch this movie, you don't quite know where it's going, and it keeps you slightly on the edge. You know something really bad is going to happen at some point, it's just a matter of when. So first things first, I gotta talk about some of the torture scenes because this is what Hostel is famous for, and I think a scene that stood out for me and pretty much probably for everyone is Josh's torture scene. So at one point in the movie, the three friends are traveling on a train and this older guy sits down next to Josh and basically freaks him out when the older guy touches his leg. Well, later on in the movie, after Josh is drugged during a night out and then kidnapped, he ends up waking up in this underground killing place, and the older guy that sat next to him on the train is the one who's gonna be doing the torturing. It's so messed up, and the older guy, he ends up toying with Josh for a little bit, and then the older guy ends up slicing Josh's Achilles, causing them to rip when Josh tries to make a run for it. It's proper icky and gross, and the whole scene is just like bleh, but it's amazing. Ollie is killed before Josh, but his death is actually off screen, but we do see his decapitated head when the boys receive a photo from him that's been sent by the torturer. By the time you get to the third act of this movie, it's just a complete gore fest. You got Paxton being tortured by this creepy looking guy with a chainsaw, but when Paxton manages to escape from his chair and kill this creepy looking guy, he makes a break for it and he ends up finding himself having to crawl under a load of dead bodies to hide whilst he's on a trolley, and he sees the dead body of his best friend Josh, and I honestly didn't think that Paxton was going to get out of this dungeon alive. It was looking like it was touch and go. Now, one of the most goriest moments for me is when this businessman is torturing one of the Asian girls from the hostel, and he's basically blow torching her eye, and when Paxton comes in to save the girl, her eyeball has completely melted out of its eye socket, and Paxton ends up cutting it off and this yellow pus starts oozing out of it. Honestly, I can remember the cinema was screaming when that happened. You definitely don't want to be eating vanilla ice cream when you watch this scene. When you watch this movie, you can feel this sense of being really far away from home for the boys. These boys, they've been sent to this hostel by some shady guy from Amsterdam who is in on the plan, by the way, and then they are bought by rich people to be tortured and killed. It's quite a horrifying thought. I can remember reading somewhere that Eli Roth was actually out doing research for the movie, and he was researching about underground red rooms where basically these are rooms that are streamed on the dark web where you can pay to watch a real life live murder. And when Eli was doing his research, he was warned to back off. So that story on its own is quite a creepy thought. Just the possibility that things like red rooms and Hostel exist twist out there is just a no, a big fat no from me. What I also love about this movie is that it's not all about the gore. Yes, it plays a huge part in the movie, but it's actually a really great story build-up, and I didn't get bored in any way when I watched this movie. In fact, I was actually intrigued first watching it, wondering where on earth this story was going, because let's be honest, there's a lot of sex and tits and ass in the first half of the movie, and yes, I did watch this with my mother when I first watched it, and I really wish I hadn't. There are actually two endings to this movie. There is one alternative ending where Paxton kidnaps the Dutch businessman's daughter on a train, but the one you tend to see is the one where Paxton kills the Dutch businessman in the gents' toilet when Paxton ends up slitting his throat, which is an ending that I do prefer, and I'm also totally glad that this Dutch businessman got his comeuppance in the very end. I also love the bit where Paxton runs down the women and that Amsterdam guy who were all in on the plan on entrapping them. It was just really satisfying to watch. I really like this movie. I love everything about it. The storytelling, the gore, the characters. You really feel for the boys, especially when, you know, they're strapped to a chair, not being able to do anything, and you have that feeling of helplessness. And it does make you think, like, what would you do in that situation? It really shows the true dark side of humanity and shows you just how evil people can be. This movie really isn't for the faint-hearted. I think if you're gonna stick a horror movie on with a friend who doesn't do too well in horror movies, then I would definitely avoid putting this one on for them. This is what I call hardcore horror, even by today's standards. I also love the sequel to this movie, Hostel Part 2, and I'm gonna be doing a review on that in my next video. Now, I've never actually seen Hostel Part 3, so I will also be doing a review on that as well after I have watched it, although I haven't heard many great reviews on that one. Anyway, that's all of my thoughts on Hostel. Now let's hear some of yours. Do we have any Hostel fans watching this video today? If we do, then let me know in the comments box below what you like about this film, and also let me know if you first watched this movie in the theater or on DVD or Blu-ray, and let me know if this film was just too much for you. I've got a few friends who really couldn't hack this movie, and it always makes me laugh, so let me know some of your stories in the comments box below. Okay then guys, well, thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I will see you all again very, very soon.